My mother ignored me my whole life for my sister. She refused to come to my wedding, saying it was too soon. But I gave a speech that went viral, and now she sent me a fake lawsuit that left them broken. I'm 27 years old. I work as a freelance graphic designer for like 3 years now. And I need to tell this story because I basically just cut contact with my mother after my wedding, and half my family thinks I'm a terrible daughter, and the other half tells me I should have done it years ago. The thing is, my mom, Carol, has always, and when I say always, I mean since I can remember, preferred my older sister Madeline over me. And when I announced my engagement to Andrew like 8 months ago, everything exploded in a way I never imagined. But I guess I should start from the beginning, so you understand why I got to the point of doing what I did at my own wedding. I grew up being the second daughter. Madeline is 2 years older than me, and since I was little, I realized things were different for her. It wasn't something super obvious at first. I mean, when you're a kid, you don't fully process it. But there were signs. My mom would go to all of Madeline's ballet recitals, but always had something to do when I had events at school. Madeline could wear whatever she wanted, and my mom would take her shopping all the time. But when I needed new clothes, it was like, well, we have to wait for sales, or you can wear what Madeline doesn't want anymore. My sister got good grades, and my mom would brag about her to everyone. I also got good grades, sometimes better than hers. And it was like, oh, that's nice, honey. And that was it. Nothing more. You know that feeling of constantly trying to get someone's attention who never really sees you? Well, that was my entire childhood. The worst was when there were family events or gatherings. My mom would always introduce Madeline first, talk about her achievements, how pretty she was, how smart she was, and I'd be standing there like a piece of furniture until someone asked, "Oh, and you're the other daughter, right?" I got so used to it that at some point it didn't even bother me anymore. Or that's what I told myself. The truth is, it did bother me. It bothered me like hell. But what was I going to do? She was my mom. Supposedly, she loved me. And I kept thinking that maybe if I tried harder, if I was better at something, if I achieved something really impressive, she'd finally see me. Spoiler alert, it never happened. When I went to college, I studied graphic design because I was passionate about it. I really liked it, and plus I was good at it. Madeline studied business administration, and my mom wouldn't stop saying she was going to be a successful executive and that she was so proud. I graduated with honors, literally with honors, and my mom went to my graduation but spent the whole time on the phone because Madeline had an important job interview that day and was nervous. At my own graduation. Can you believe it? I don't even have a decent photo with my mom from that day because she was always distracted or looking at her phone. I have like 3 blurry photos, and in all of them she's looking away or with her phone in her hand. I met Andrew 5 years ago at a networking event. He's a web developer, and we connected immediately. He's the kind of person who really listens to you, you know? And when I told him about my family, about the dynamic with my mom and sister, he was the first one who told me, "Jessica, that's not normal. That's pure favoritism, and it's not okay." And I remember I got super defensive. Like, no, my mom is just like that. It's her way of being. Madeline has always been more this and more that. But Andrew made me see that I was normalizing something that had basically hurt me my whole life. It was like, I don't know, like someone had taken a blindfold off my eyes. So like a year ago, Andrew proposed to me. It was beautiful, super intimate, nothing extravagant but perfect for us. I was happy, literally the happiest I'd been in years. I called my mom the next day to tell her. Super excited. And you know what her first reaction was? It wasn't congratulations. It wasn't how, exciting, honey. It wasn't tell me everything. It was, oh, Jessica, but Madeline just got married 6 months ago. Don't you think it's too soon? And I was like, excuse me? What does that have to do with anything? And she continued, people are going to think you're competing with your sister, that you want to overshadow her. And besides, she just had her wedding. Let her enjoy her moment. I stayed quiet for like 30 seconds, didn't even know what to say, and then just said, well, Mom, it's my life and I'm getting married when I want. I'll call you later. And hung up. Andrew was there when that happened and saw my face. When he asked me what my mom said, and when I told him, he was furious, more furious than me because I was still like in shock. He told me, you can't let her do this to you again. It's your wedding, your moment, and if she can't be happy for you, that's her problem, not yours. And he was right. I knew it. But she was also my mom, and part of me still wanted her approval, her blessing, her happiness for me, even if just once in my life. We decided to set the date for October, several months later, thinking that would give my mom enough time to process and accept it. I sent her a message telling her the date, asking if we could meet to talk about the plans, and she answered like 3 days later, super dry, saying she had to think about it. That she had to think about it? Think about what exactly? I went to her house. She has a small beauty salon there at her house, where she does hair and stuff. And when I arrived, she was attending to a client but told me to wait. I sat there for like 40 minutes, watching her style this lady's hair and listening to her talk about how beautiful Madeline's wedding had been, about the dress, about the flowers, about the guests, and me sitting there thinking, seriously? When she finally finished and the client left, I sat with her in her kitchen and told her, Mom, I want you at my wedding. I want you to be part of this. I can do something smaller if you're worried it's too close to Madeline's wedding. I can change the style so it doesn't look similar. Whatever. Just tell me what you need to be there. And she looked at me, sighed like I was asking her for something impossible, and said, Jessica, honestly, I don't think I can go. I froze. I asked her why, and she started with how it was too soon after Madeline's wedding, that people were going to compare, that Madeline had spent a lot of money and effort on her wedding, and that me having mine so close was like taking away her special moment, that besides she was very busy with the salon and October was high season for her. I got up from that chair, literally felt like I was going to fall apart right there, and told her, Mom, Madeline got married in April. We'll be in October. That's 6 months. And besides, even if it was 2 weeks, it's my wedding. Shouldn't it matter to you? And she got defensive. Told me that, of course it mattered, but I had to understand. There were circumstances that Madeline was more sensitive, that she didn't want to create problems between sisters. I told her, Mom, the problems already exist. They've always existed. You just never wanted to see them. And I walked out of there, because if I stayed one more minute, I was going to say things I couldn't take back. I cried the whole way home. Andrew hugged me when I got there and didn't say anything. Just let me cry. That night we talked for hours about what to do. Part of me wanted to cancel everything, postpone the wedding, do whatever, so my mom would be there. But Andrew told me something I'll never forget. He said, Jessica, if you cancel or postpone your wedding because of her, you're going to be letting her control you even on one of the most important days of your life, and you're going to end up resentful, not just with her but with yourself for allowing it. And he was right. We went ahead with the plans. I sent my mom the invitation anyway, with a note saying I wanted her there but understood if she couldn't attend, trying to be the bigger person. Even though inside I was devastated, she never responded. Not a message, not a call, nothing. Madeline called me like 2 weeks later asking if it was true that Mom wasn't going to my wedding, and when I said yes, she got all uncomfortable and said something like, well, maybe you should have waited longer. My wedding was very recent. And I told her, Madeline, seriously? You too? And she stayed quiet and then said she was just saying what she thought, and we hung up. The following months were weird. I planned my whole wedding practically alone. Well, with Andrew and some close friends, but without my mom, without my sister, without half my family, who basically decided to take my mom's side without even asking me what had happened. My dad died when I was like 12, so my mom is my only direct family besides Madeline, and feeling that both of them had turned their backs on me on something so important was, I don't know, devastating is an understatement. The wedding day arrived. October 15th, a beautiful Saturday. Not too cold, the venue was gorgeous. Everything went perfectly. I hired a wedding planner who helped me with everything because I couldn't handle it alone, and she was amazing. The ceremony was emotional. Andrew and I wrote our own vows, and when they declared us husband and wife, I was happy. Really happy, despite everything. But there was also like a hole there, you know? Like an absence I couldn't ignore. At the reception came the time for speeches. Andrew's dad spoke. His best friend spoke. My best friend spoke. And everyone said beautiful things. And then it was my turn. Andrew and I had talked about this. I had told him I wanted to say something, and he asked me if I was sure, and I told him yes, that I needed to do it. So I stood up with the microphone. Everyone was there, like 100 people. And I started talking about how happy I was, how grateful I was to everyone for coming, how much I loved Andrew. And then I said, there's someone who should be here today but who decided not to come, and that's my mom. The room got super quiet. I continued. I said that my mom didn't come because my sister got married 6 months earlier, and she felt my wedding would overshadow her. That my whole life I had lived in my sister's shadow, that I had never been enough for my mom, no matter what I did, and that even at my own wedding, on my special day, she decided my sister's feelings were more important than mine. I said I wanted everyone to know I was okay, that I had learned to be happy without her approval, but that I also wanted to be honest about why there was an empty chair where my mother should be. And then I raised my glass and said, to the families we choose, not just the ones we're born into. And I toasted. There was applause, some uncomfortable, others genuine. And when I sat down, Andrew squeezed my hand and told me, I'm proud of you. Some people came afterwards to tell me I had been very brave. Others looked at me weird the rest of the night. Honestly, I felt a mix of relief and terror. Like, did I really just do that? But I also felt like I had taken a weight off my shoulders. Like I had finally said out loud what I'd been keeping inside my whole life. What I didn't expect was that someone had recorded the speech and uploaded it to TikTok. We left for our honeymoon in Cancun the next day, and like 3 days later, Andrew checked his phone and told me, Jessica, you need to see this. The video already had like 2 million views. 2 million? People were commenting like crazy, some saying I had done the right thing, that my mom sounded toxic, that she deserved to be exposed. Others saying I had been cruel and dramatic, that weddings weren't the place to air dirty laundry, that I had publicly humiliated my mom. It was a total mess. My phone started exploding with calls and messages. My mom called me like 20 times over 2 days. I wasn't answering because, well, I was on my honeymoon and frankly didn't want to deal with that. I finally sent her a message saying we'd talk when I got back. She sent me like 50 messages saying how dare I humiliate her like that I had ruined her reputation, that all her salon clients had seen the video, that I was an ungrateful and vindictive daughter, that she had never done anything bad to me, and I was painting her as a monster. When we got back from the honeymoon a week later, I found an envelope at my door. It was a letter supposedly from a law firm called something like Martinez and Associates, saying my mom was suing me for defamation and damages to her business, and that I owed her $5,000 for losses in her beauty salon because several clients had canceled their appointments after seeing the video. I got scared, horrible, literally started shaking, reading that letter, and Andrew read it too and said, wait, there's something weird here. First, the letter had spelling errors, like lawsuit spelled wrong, defamation with 1 M instead of 2, things like that a professional lawyer would never let pass. Second, the phone number of the supposed law firm didn't exist. Andrew called it, and it came up as invalid number. Third, we looked up the firm on Google and nothing came up. Absolutely nothing. No website, no address, no reviews, nothing. It was fake. The letter was completely fake. I felt a mix of relief and anger. Relief because I wasn't really being sued. Anger because my mom had gotten to the point of fabricating a fake lawsuit to scare me. I decided to go to her house to confront her. Andrew wanted to come with me, but I told him no, that I had to do this alone. I arrived on a Tuesday around 6 in the evening. She was closing the salon, and when she saw me, she went pale. I took out the letter and put it in her face and told her, is this for real? Did you really fabricate a fake lawyer letter to scare me? And she stayed quiet, then tried to justify herself, saying I hadn't left her any other choice, that I had humiliated her first and she was just trying to defend herself. I told her, Mom, you didn't come to my wedding. You chose not to be there. I just told the truth. And if the truth makes you look bad, it's because your actions made you look bad, not me. She started crying, told me I had always been dramatic, that I always exaggerated everything, that Madeline never caused her these problems. And that's when something in me broke definitively. I told her, you know what, Mom? You're right. Madeline never causes you problems because she's always been your favorite, and she knows it, and you know it, and everyone knows it. And I got tired of pretending it's not like that. I got tired of begging for your attention, of trying to be enough for you, of waiting for someday you'd see me the same way you see her. I had my wedding without you, and it was beautiful, and I was happy, and turns out I don't. need you to be happy. So I'm going to ask you something. Don't call me. Don't look for me. Don't send me fake letters or made up lawyers. I don't want to hear from you unless you're ready for a real apology. Not justifications, not excuses, a real apology for everything. And until that happens, I don't want you to be part of my life. Because honestly, it hurts me more to have you around than not to have you. She looked at me like I had hit her, and then tried to say something, but I was already leaving. I got in my car and left, and I cried all the way home. But I also felt like I had finally closed a chapter I should have closed years ago. It's been like 3 weeks since that. My mom hasn't called me, hasn't tried to contact me. Madeline sent me a message saying, Mom is very sad, and that maybe I exaggerated everything, that I should apologize. And I just answered that I had nothing to apologize for, and that if she wanted to continue having a relationship with Mom, that was fine, but that I needed space. Some relatives have stopped talking to me. Others have told me privately that I did well, that it was time someone told my mom things. Andrew has been incredible through all this. He supports me completely, tells me I did the right thing, setting boundaries, that my mental health is more important than maintaining fake family peace, and I think he's right. Sometimes I wonder if I was too harsh, if I should have handled things differently, if the wedding speech was too much. But then I remember, I tried everything, literally everything, before getting to that point. I tried to talk to her, to compromise, to make things smaller, and nothing was enough. So what else was I supposed to do? There are still difficult days. Seeing something on social media about mother-daughter relationships hits me hard. Thinking about having kids someday, and that maybe they won't have their grandmother on my side, makes me sad. But I also feel like for the first time in my life I'm living without carrying the weight of constant disappointment, without constantly seeking approval that was never going to come anyway. Last week I was organizing the wedding photos with Andrew, and I saw all the photos from the reception, from the speeches, from people dancing and laughing, and I realized something. Yes, there was an empty chair where my mom should have been. And yes, that hurt, and probably will always hurt a little. But the rest of the chairs were filled with people who really love me, who chose to be there, who celebrated with me without conditions. And that has to be enough, right? I guess at the end of the day, you can't force someone to love you the way you need to be loved, not even if that person is your mom. And it's okay to walk away from that if it's hurting you, even if half the world thinks you're a bad person for doing it. Your peace of mind is worth more than the approval of people who are never going to give you what you need anyway.